centered novel, but we can see the observations, right? So these kind of observations are very, very important. Is it my voice clear, my dear students? Is it my voice clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
because it's it's getting recorded, so that's the reason. Okay, and yeah, the story is in between husband and a wife, and how the wife takes, kind of a stand towards her own life, and once again she comes back. So it goes on beyond the imagination of normal normal story, and then we can see how protagonist has an introspection and she comes back, right? But this may not be a right solution for anything, but in spite of all that, what was happening on those days in a domestic spaces, it was well recorded by R.K. Narayan. Okay, the family and gender roles. The Narayan's main focus in the slow erosion of a woman's individual identity within the family. In a sense, the novel is an attack on the myth of the ideal family by showing how the family is a space where gender roles are often decided by men of the house. The protagonist symbolically named Savitri after one of the most revered models of Indian womanhood. She does all that is expected of her, serves the family with utmost diligence. Despite this, she has no role to play in decision making. The cook is unhappy, but she cannot feed him. And the child is ill, but she cannot tell him to stay at home. Narayan's criticism of the family system focus on the following. So we can see very, very clearly the dynamics of the family and gender roles. So it's something very political and personal as well, because there is no decision making for the women there. And so this is...
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, may I raise a question?
Yes, yes. Who is this? Madhavi? Mute yourself.
Merlin, ma'am. Merlin.
Merlin, mute yourself. Chaitu Renu, mute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And Madhavi. Why Madhavi? Mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Mute your mobile. Mute your voice. Yes, because whenever there is disturbance, then it is reflected here. Yeah, I can see 25 people are here, and let us go ahead. Yeah, this is very important to see certain points. The women does not choose her roles, the risk and given to her as mother, wife, etc. The absence of any role for women in decision making, the complete erasure of her identity and personality due to the pressure of the role assigned to her. So, what kind of anxieties are there in the society, in the institution of marriage? We can see very clearly in Narayan's story, a short story, The Dark Room. And it's a very symbolic, like the dark room means, goes in hand with heaviness, or something which is not visible. In the dark, you can't see anything and everything looks okay. But actually, whatever happening in the dark is not visible to the our normal eyes, right? The same thing happens in the society also. The people ignore you for different reasons because it is something very dark. And at the same time, why she wanted to sit in the dark room, the Savitri, see, the naming is also very, very important. Why that kind of names are given, like in the Indian mythology, Savitri, Sita, these are a very, very strong characters and portrayed for different reasons, especially for chastity and for having lot of patience, and lot of pain, agony and sorrow goes with these characters, right? Same time. And so the maybe the Narayan thought like it is also important. We don't know the mind of the writer, but in spite of all said and done, it opens a Pandorum box, like it's a kind of like lot of questions comes to our mind. That's what it's a successful writer is very, very successful in making us, all of us, to think like that, right? Okay, Anita, mute yourself. Anita, mute your mobile, please. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. So page number 29, you can see, check your progress. When was The Dark Room published in India? Tell me just now, almost 3 times, more than 3-4 times I was able to repeat. When was the dark?
1956. 56.
Very good. And when was it published prior? 1930?
1938.
1938.
Very good. Yeah, see, these are small questions that you can see in between, and you should read the lesson, then it will be easy for you to remember, right? Definitely a question will be there in the first session of your question paper relating to Savitri. Okay. So with this, we can understand generally Narayan's novel deal with women question. The novel functions as a commentary to the way in which the female determines gender roles and leaves the women with very little choice or power to determine the course of her life. Narayan shows how abusive father-husband treats Savitri as an object to be possessed and owned, and thus neglects her individuality. You can clearly see the difference between the power and control in the institution of marriage, and how her husband never counted her as an individual but just like an object, and she is not visible anywhere, her presence is not felt, but only her services are utilized in the family, but her identity was erased. So this kind of women question, that means self identity and being an individual, these kind of roles we can clearly see. We just can imagine how difficult it is for a male writer or to think about in such a broad perspective. So definitely we should appreciate R.K. Narayan's perspective, and this dark room is a political statement of R.K. Narayan, though we cannot call him as a feminist, right? So but he opened certain questions which are very, very important. Okay. So Madhavi, mute yourself. Chaitu Renu, mute yourself. Please mute yourself. If not, I am forced to mute you. Okay. So these are, Narayan also suggests how the woman achieves a sense of individuality when she works for herself rather than the family. However, briefly, the dark room is a space where she alone with her thoughts. That means she's the one who is thinking for herself, right? So this is something which is important for a woman to think about herself, and that's the reason we remember Virginia Woolf say, work a room of one's own. A room of one's own, where Virginia Woolf speaks on two things. One is, a woman should have a lock and a key and little bit of money be in her hand. So the dark room is a space where she is alone with her thoughts and escapes her best out identity. So this kind of things are very important for very modern literature. And that's the reason R.K. Narayan's, we may be knowing a lot of things on Rashipuram Krishnaswamy Narayan, especially related to Malgudi days. And we can see how important the democracy plays a role, and individual identity is also important when it comes to women and children, even children also. See, this is also, there is one a shadow. I think maybe the last year you were able to learn something about it, and this year we are trying to understand the dark room. Okay, let us go for the unit 5. Do you have your textbooks in front of you? I think all of you, I trust you all have the books with you. So let us go for unit 5. Can someone read the first paragraph? Introduction, Raja Rao's introduction, page number 31, 5.1. Someone read it for me. Read it loud for me. My dear students, learners. Yes, for 2 minutes we'll be reading that. Okay. Can someone go ahead? Yes, go ahead.
Raja Rao was one of the first.
Yeah, Varalakshmi, you want to read?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Raja Rao was one of the first 3 major writers of fiction in English, along with R.K. Narayan and Mulkraj Anand, after his BA from Nizam College, Hyderabad. He left for France to study literature and history at the University of
Montpellier,
Montpellier and the
Sorbonne.
Sorbonne. He returned to India in 1939 and was engaged in editing a journal and in underground activities as part of the freedom struggle. After World War II, he alternated between India and France. In 1966, he joined the faculty at the University of Texas, Austin. He spent the rest of his life in Texas. Rao's second novel, The Serpent and the Rope, is a philosophical and tale of a young intellectual Brahmin and his wife who seeks spiritual truth in India, France, and England.
Very good. You can stop here. You can stop here. Bye. Now that you have a learning experience and you are trying to be loud in reading, I request all the students to read loud so that you'll be able to, pronunciation will be practiced. Okay. So you all got the information regarding the biographical content of Raja Rao, where he was born and where he got his education, what are the works that is involved, The Cat and Shakespeare, The Tale of India, 1965, and communism-inspired Comrade Krylov, and The Chess Master and his moves in 1988, The Cow of the Barricades, and other stories in 1947. So you can see all these are related to Raja Rao. And very, very philosophical is The Serpent and the Rope, which was written in 1960 after the independence, but he was almost in Texas. And so we can see Kanta Rao as a diaspora writer sometimes, but not exactly the diaspora writer. But on those days, he was, shuttling between India and the foreign countries. Kantapura is a set in village. Let us come back to the theme of Kantapura. Kantapura is set in a village in South India called Kantapura, despite the clear caste differences. So it is focusing more on caste differences, and the village functions as a harmonious whole according to the narrator. The widow Achakka Murthy, a young Brahmin, is influenced by the Mahatma and starts spreading Mahatma's message among the villagers. So the story revolves around Achakka and Murthy and a young Brahmin, and how Indian people on those days, the freedom struggle was at peaks, and they were influenced by the Gandhiji's Quit India movement and Bharat Chodo Andolan. All that happened, and every nook and corner of India were influenced by the freedom fighters, not only Gandhi, but especially here there is a mention of Gandhi, and we can see the story revolves around freedom movement and the people around in the village system. Okay. So myth, history and language in Kantapura. What is the page number? What is the page number?
28.
28, ma'am.
28.
28 for the old student, I mean the books which are new, and for the old one, 32. Page number 32. Okay. 5.2. Myth, history and language in Kantapura. Raja Rao makes use of a traditional mode of storytelling via myth. Thus, for example, he uses a time scale which is non-Western. You remember how Krishna, when he was but a babe of 4, had begun to fight against demons and had killed the serpent Kali. So too, or Mohandas, to fight against the enemies and of our country. So the storytelling is always there, and Raja Rao always known for a very, very subtle metaphors. And so here also they are trying to see and compare both freedom struggle with a very, very old epic of Indian culture, that's Mahabharata, where Krishna is fighting against the demon, and here the same with Mohandas is fighting against the Britishers. Here Rao merges the modern calendar time when we think of a secular time with mythic time, the Hindu story of Krishna. It is important to understand the significance of this kind of merging. What Rao does is to reject Western models of writing history. Western histories are almost always linear. This happened, then this happened. Event lead to event 1, lead to event 2, and led to event 3. The history is also shown as a cause and effect. This happened and therefore this happened. The time scene is rigidly maintained. Usually in the most historical narrative, Rajarao rejects this scheme. Instead, he links Gandhi's historical time in the present 30s and India. So you can see how important, how he is different, how Rajarao is different from the Western thoughts. It's not sequential, but it is more related to ancient Hindu epics, especially Hindu epics, right? Yeah, myths and legends are always there, and not in terms of clockwise, but in seasons, in myths and legends. So it is not going chronologically like 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what a chronology is about. But here it is about, we can see some kind of coming forth with different stories and intertwined with myth and legendary characters as well now, and then it will be coming and interfering with the novel also. Another example is Rao's linkage of anti-colonial struggle with religious and mystic myths and legends. So mythic history, like Harishchandra, before he finished his war, the gods will come down and dissolve his war. The Britishers will leave India and we shall pay less taxes and there be no policemen. So this is highly some kind of a fantasy, but in spite of all said and done, they wanted to come out of the struggle, and the freedom struggle always was an inspiring story on those days. So it went on well with mingling different kinds of stories together. Okay. Once again, Rao explains the present in terms of a mythic past. The relief from colonial domination is compared to release of the ancient and virtuous Hindu kings from his woes. The yoke of the vow, like the yoke of colonialism, can be shifted by being virtuous when the god intervenes. So you can see some of the, what are the main characteristics of in Kantapura. Thus, Kantapura shows an Indianized English not only in terms of language, but also forms of narrative. Do remember what kind of narrative? Character's name in Indian mode, Corner House Murthy. See, this happens with only with Indians. You want to remember the aunt who was there 2 years back, whom you met 2 years back. Then you say, I went to that village and there we saw one auntie. I don't know her name, but she used to have a lot of bangles in her hand. That is, her name is Bangles Auntie. So you keep and you name them, right? So that kind of naming is something which is very, very peculiar to Indians, right? So Corner House Murthy, Waterfall Venkama. See, Waterfall Venkama. Colloquial expression, exclamation, ayyayo. See, this is not English, but when it comes to our vernacular language, especially with Indian languages, you can see this kind of exclamations and colloquial expressions. Ayyayo. See, ayyo, ayyo. See, we can see very clearly, we can identify this ayyo, ayyo word, not from English or not from British, or it is not a RP word, it is purely South Indian word. Chalega, that means it's something which is a Hindi word. We can see that chalega means it's not exactly chalega. Chalega means, chalna means walking in Hindi. But when it comes to chalega, that's something which is colloquial narrative, right? Expression. The same way. So this kind of usage was there in the novel. Storytelling, the form of grandmother's tale within which there are other stories and their narrators. You can see when we start with a very big story, in between you get one again a small story. Pitta Katha we call, right? That means small stories, fables will come in between. And what is the difference between a fable and a short story? Any one of you know that? What is a fable and what is a short story? Who will be the prominent characters in fables? Any idea? How many people are here? 25. Okay. Any idea? No. Okay. So fables are, even animals and birds are involved in the fables. Sometimes they are protagonists in the fable. Whereas in a short story, we can see animal or not, but they are not going to speak for themselves. In the fable, you can see they are speaking for themselves. Okay. So there is a difference between short story and a fable. Fable can be a short story. And specifically, you can see the birds talking in the fable, and you can see animals talking to each other. in the first person, not in the translation or not in the third person. Okay. So usage borrowed from Indian context. Young boys bright as banana trunks. She Kenchamma, the goddess, killed a demon ages ago, and demon that had come to ask for the young sons as food, our young women as wives. So you can see exactly the narrative style of Raja Rao here, right? The use of folk, local, and ancient myths, histories, and stories. What Raja Rao does is to use the Western form and indigenize by combining it. Indigenous, see, that means which is very very organic. It's not something which you can say like it is a Western kind of a form, but you can see Indian forms here. Convert the syntax of English to as accommodate Indian idiomatic expression. Use the English language to narrate a local history rooted in a specific cultural milieu. So these are certain areas that you should always focus on: how myth, history, and language in Kantapura, and how nation and nationalism. Very, very important in Kantapura. Remember, Kantapura stands for it's more related to freedom struggle, and it's an important novel because it shows Indian writers negotiated the problem of a foreign language and used it to tell their Indian story. Do remember, they negotiated with the language. That's what we can see very clearly in Kantapura. As the story of villages' transformation during the freedom struggle is a local historical story, but has larger issue and questions in it. It combines myth and local history with a specific form of Indianized English to narrate this story. So you can see how Kantapura, especially with foreign language. What is the foreign language here? Is it English is a native language for Indians or a foreign language?
Foreign language.
Yeah, it's a foreign language. Yes, because if someone is from Mumbai, the Hindi is their first language. Second language is their mother tongue is Hindi, but they are trying to get information through the media called as it's Hindi medium as well as English medium, right? When it comes to South India, if someone is from Kerala, the first language, their mother tongue is Malayalam. And if you are from the combined Telugu states, then it can be Telangana and Andhra. Then you are going to speak in the mother tongue Telugu. If you are in from Tamil Nadu, it is Tamil. And if it is from Odisha or for that matter, any part of India, first comes the mother tongue, then comes the official language, officially accepted language, that is foreign language, which is not ours, but it was adapted for the convenience of the administration. That's what we can get connected in the first unit. You can see how English in 1835, Macaulay minutes. So that's the first decision by the government to introduce English in the place of what are the other languages on those days. It used to be, yesterday I was giving you the information. What are the Indian languages that were substituted by English after 1835 Macaulay units?
Sanskrit, Arabic.
Yeah, Sanskrit, Persia, Arabic.
Arabic.
See, yes. It was all, they completely said it is not useful. And Macaulay thought it is useless to use all those languages, and he very degraded the language. And for their convenience and administration, they started to impose English language for the clerical jobs, which is important for their accounting, right? Okay. Let me come back to the next question here. Why it is important. The main theme of Gandhiism and Gandhian philosophy revolves around economic questions. Rao shows how Gandhian transformation is not easy to achieve because older prejudices are difficult to erase. And this, a native economy is a moral one, shows Rao. So in the let us sum up, you can see in 5.6 point, I think the page numbers differ from book to book sometimes, but someone help me out. You can see the last page of the unit.
33.
Yeah. For some it is 33 and for some it is 37. Okay. Depending on the books that you got, just check up with that. Okay. Okay. The theme of nationalism is dealt with in such a way that Rao shows us both sides of the picture. On the one hand, he shows all parts of India, even smaller places like Kantapura, because it is a small village following a single national goal, independence. On the other hand, she shows how such a single goal and the very idea of nation sometimes ignores and erases very local conditions and cultural differences. So, two sides of the coin very clearly observed in this unit by Kantapura, right? Kantapura is significant because though it is a single village, a small village, but in spite of all that, you can see the differences, right? Okay, so we completed 5 units today in the block 1, right? So try to see for the examination point of view. Are you there with me? Are you listening to me? I can see 26 people here. Afrozi,
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. See, from the examination point of view, the arrival of English in India, early Indian prose in English, 20th century fiction, R.K. Narayan's Dark Room, and Raja Rao's Kantapura. So all these are very, very important. Try to read immediately this week because you have one more week and your assignments are there and you should submit the assignments. Maybe Monday they'll be publishing. We gave 15 days back. I think Student Service Branch will be updating in your website, and from Monday onwards, check out your dates regarding the assignment. Submit as soon as possible the moment it is published. Okay, so is it fresh on your mind? Can someone sum up what happened in the 2 days? Can someone give some feedback for this 5 lessons just in 3 or 4 lines? Any one of you? Any one of you, it's okay. You can give small summary of it for all the 5 units.
The introduction when the English came to India.
Okay.
And then in English education in India. Early 20s. And our writers, they started writing like early Indian prose.
Very good.
And then we started with the 3 writers, the great writers.
Yes.
That is R.K. Narayan, Raja Rao, and Mulk Raj Anand. So far, we have 2 people. Is R.K. Narayan and Kantapura of Raja Rao's.
Very good. Very good. See, this is only, thank you, Daksha ma'am. Thank you, Daksha ji. See, this is one thing which is very important for the students, is only tip of the iceberg. We are trying to make you taste a simple literature which is prominent in those, in the initial stages of Indian English literature, right? You please go to the reference book and you can see a lot of references also given, and Google it about more about Narayan and even Kantapura also. You can read the whole text as well. You can understand it very well. Okay. So let me go for the second block. I'll just give you an introduction, and next week will be, because again, next Saturday, the class is next Saturday. So it is on Indian poetry till independence. So we are having 4 units in that. Unit 6 is Indian poetry and the romantic tradition. And unit 7 deals with 19th century poet Henry de Rossi and Toru Dutt. Both are very, very prominent writers, in spite of a very lifespan of Toru is very, very significant in the Indian English literature, especially with poetry, and what kind of poems she has written, poems of what is the importance of that poem. So we can see very clearly. Okay, Unit 8, early 20th century poetry, Aravindo and Sarojini Naidu. So this is completely before independence. Okay, it's not after independence, but before the independence. Okay, so try to see and try to read. It will be easy for you to understand if you read immediately, right? How many of you are reading right now? I mean, yesterday I started the lesson. I can see very, very, very many students here, and but I'm afraid the exams are coming very nearby to you. Please don't postpone. I can see everyone who is regular here. Very good, Varalakshmi. I'm very, very happy. Try to read regularly and complete the sessions as soon as possible so that it will be useful for all of you. Okay, and don't skip just don't go for any handbooks. Handbooks in the sense, quote unquote, the guides and all that information. There is no need for you. Just go with the textbooks and write your own notes. That's the reason for the writing practice, understanding very well, we gave assignments to you. Am I clear? The assignments are there, and please do understand that assignments are given to the students only for writing practice. Language is acquired through 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So you are listening to me, and you should speak whenever there is a requirement, and you should practice speaking in your daily life. The next comes reading. You should read this self-learning material. That means the course books which university provided for you. Please do remember, read the book first. Read the textbook, not the guidebook, not the helping books, not the notes prepared by the others. Read the textbook, okay? Read the textbook and write the assignments. Do remember, I'm again and again requesting all of you, don't become prey for unnecessary things. Read the textbook and write the assignments. You'll become very it becomes a habit for you, and you're going to be masters in your subject. Really, once you complete your masters in English, there is no need for someone else to say whether you you just got the marks or you are really having that much of content. Okay, I'm requesting all the students to read the textbook so that will be easy for you to write an assignment. Coming to last one is writing practice, right? What are the 4 skills in acquiring a knowledge? Can anyone respond to me? What are the 4 skills that are required to learn a language?
Listening,
LSRW. LSRW.
Very good. What is LSRW?
Listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
I'm very happy. Many of you are responding. Very, very important. And even spread a word. This, by the mouth of word, you should spread all your friends stating like they should read the textbook and write the assignments. Okay. Don't go for any other text material. You want additional information? The Google search is there, library is there. Go for Google Scholar, you get lot of information. Rather than going for a guidebook, it is better to go for the textbook. Comes next, the last part is writing. For a long time, people have stopped writing, right? How many can you write within 3 hours? How many papers you can write? Test yourself. For every hour, that's the reason assignments are given to you. You should practice writing. Am I clear to all of you? Yes, you should practice writing. If you can't write now, you may not be able to write in the examination. So for the writing practice, write with your hands, and then you'll be able to address the question paper properly within the given period of time. How many hours is given for your question paper? How 3 many hours? Yes, yes. And what are the marks? 70 marks.
70.
Other 30. Yes. Other 30 marks is for
assignment.
Very good. So these 30 marks assignments you should practice before going. So all the 2 months you have to practice rigorously. Now the countdown has started. See, when you want to go for any your own village or your own native place, or if you are married and you want to go to your mother's and parents' place, how you will count the days? Oh, it's only 1 week is there. Now summer is coming. I want to go to my parents' place. Something like that, right? The same way your exams are going to be very nearby. May you are going to have the exams. So practice writing. Practice writing. You should write and practice. You should read and practice. You should always be consistent in your reading and writing. Okay? You may feel like, what is this ma'am is telling again and again about examinations, because you all are coming and listening like a good children, but you are not practicing. I know. See, that will be reflected in your examination. That's the reason for every class, I'll be giving instructions. I'll be giving some homework to you. Okay. What is this week homework is, you should write at least two essay questions from R.K. Narayan's Dark Room and Raja Rao's Kantapuram. Can I give you some 2 questions? Are you ready for that? Yesterday I gave small assignment to you. Do you remember what is it?
Unity of time. Unity of place, unity of action, ma'am.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Who is this?
Bhargavi, ma'am.
Very good. See, that is what 3 unities are. So it's a very, very important for us. Now I am giving you one 10 marks question. Make the note of a question. Discuss Raja Rao's, this question. It is an essay. Okay, it is a 10 marks with 500, minimum 500 words should be there. Discuss Raja Rao's use of. Are you writing? Discuss Raja Rao. Raja Rao. R
Yes,
capital. R capital. Raja Rao's use of Gandhian thought in Kantapura. Gandhian thought. G capital letter. Okay. Gandhian thought in Kantapura. Okay. Next question. Next essay question. This is again another essay question. Okay. How does nation, N capital within single quote, how does nation figure as a theme? Figure as a theme, Theme, as a theme in early Indian fiction in English. So, do you remember where this will, you can get the answer from? Which unit? Okay, the first question is Kantapura. Next one is also from?
Kantapuram.
Yes, very good.
Early
Nation and nationalism, right? The theme of nation and nationalism. Very good, very good. You want to have clarify any doubts from the first block? Let me know. Any observations, any comments, or you have any doubt regarding
Yes,
the... Yes, tell me. What is it?
Ma'am, regarding the assignment, may I ask you, ma'am?
Yes, Miss Ross, Marilyn Ross.
Yes, ma'am. Far as what I've understood about the assignment, once we get the questions, we have to download the sheets and then write on the same sheets and make PDF of it and mail it to whatever ID is given. Is that right, ma'am? Or am I wrong?
No, my dear. You take out the question paper, you write in a handbook, you write with your own handwritten copy. Don't make, you can take any from any sources. But for the questions, you should write. That is what I am trying to tell you, Marilyn. You can write because that will be a practice to you for the examination.
Last time we wrote on A4 size sheets, no, ma'am. So
even this time also meeting, you can write.
We can write. So when we had the meeting, I asked one of those sirs there. So they said when they came to instruct us, so they said that we will get the copies there and we have to write limited and not exceed the sheet.
That is only for examination. Examination, not there.
Okay. I thought
it's not, it's only, no. Last time what you have done, this time also, take A4 size paper, read the question, go to the chapter, and you write. This is for writing practice. You are having only hardly, in the month of May, you'll be having exams. Okay? You should prepare
not
well
July,
for that.
Ma'am, like last time, it's going to be May. Okay, ma'am.
Because
ma'am,
last time it was first year. This time you are second year. If you are going to have in the June, again, it will be difficult for you if you want to go for further studies. So, second years will be delayed. First years will be little late. First, second year, then comes the first year. Don't worry about the exam date. Worry like, you just think like only April is there for you. March and April. Then read. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, we'll write in A4 size sheets and then we supposed to make a PDF.
Yes. You submit in the PG college. Where are you from? Marilyn, where are you from?
I'm from Hyderabad, ma'am.
Okay, you met me anytime in the university, in the college?
I came to you, remember, ma'am, once to collect some books actually. I got my
books. I remember. Yeah, Marilyn, I remember. Okay, yes, you should submit in PG college Secunderabad, your assignments. Okay.
Ma'am, so it is like how we did for the first year submission?
You should do the same thing and you should submit in Secunderabad.
I
Okay.
thought it
Yeah.
was
Any
online,
other
ma'am, this
question?
time.
Merlin, 1 second. Any other question other than this?
Ma'am,
Yes.
they said like they'll provide the space after.
No. That is for examinations, not here. You should get the A4 size paper, write down the question paper, download the question paper and respond to that. No one will give the papers to you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then. Yeah. Any other questions relating to your block 1 about the
Ma'am, what
subject?
about
No.
Good
assignments,
evening.
ma'am?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah. Good
Ma'am,
evening.
good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
Ma'am, earlier you said the 2 questions, ma'am, discuss about Raja Rao's use of Gandhi and how does the national figure as the theme in early Indian fiction. Is this question is only for practice of writing, ma'am?
That's it, for practice of writing, not for assignment. Okay, don't get confused.
Okay,
This is
ma'am.
not an assignment. I'm giving you homework because
Okay,
you'll be
ma'am. Okay,
remembering. It's
ma'am.
not for assignments. It's not for assignment. Okay, it's only for your.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. Okay.
First question is, ma'am, you repeat, ma'am. Please discuss Raja Rao's use of Gandhi.
Someone can repeat for her.
First question is
Discuss Raja Rao's use of Gandhian thought in Kantapura.
Gandhian thought, ma'am.
Thought in Kantapura. First question.
In Kantapura.
Yes.
And next one is, ma'am.
How does nation figure as a theme in early Indian fiction in English?
Okay, ma'am. These are 2 questions from Kantapura, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You should read read, my dear. You should read. You should read that. That is the reason I'm giving you this homework.
Okay, ma'am. Discuss. First question is, ma'am. First question is
you'll be understanding that. Take your textbook and see the units. You'll understand that. Okay. Any other question?
Madam, what about the assignments, ma'am?
Who is this? Introduce yourself.
Adinarayana Swami, madam.
Yeah, that will be given in the website. Maybe the next week.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. My dear students, do remember our session is going to end today in these 2 sessions.
Hello,
yes,
madam.
Who is this? Yes, go ahead.
Madam,
Who is this?
I'm Krishna from Jadcherla, madam.
Yes, Krishna, what's your doubt?
Madam, how long this classes will be running, madam? Online classes.
Yeah. Online classes for 8 classes, 8 days it will be there. And now you have finished the second Saturday, 1 Saturday and 1 Sunday. So you are left with another 6 classes. And every class will be again Saturday, Sunday. It's not, continuously, but it will happen in the Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
And you get the intimation from the university directly to the students. Okay?
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Okay, Krishna.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Happy reading. Read well, eat well, and be happy. And read the text and complete the assignments as soon as it is published on the website. Is it okay, Daksha?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
I'm
one
happy.
last question,
You're all
ma'am.
regularly. Yeah. From the morning, you are able to, I think the first session was Tausif. No, not Tausif. I think the new counselor has come. The second was Fuzzy was there. Fuzzyullah.
Yes.
Third session was Deepa.
Yes.
And now my session and the last session will be again with Durga. Okay. Take care. Yeah. Take care. Read well. All of you read well. I can see Santoshi. Lot of you here. I'm very happy. Almost 26 people. Malati, Madhavi, Adinarayana Swami, Afroz Begum, Anita, Bhaskar, Rishikesh, and Krishna, Kalpana, Mahalakshmi, Merlin Ross, Manjusha, Narmada, Rekha, Bhargavi, Sandhya, Sanjay, Santoshi, Shivani, Venkatesh, and some 2 names are like Oppo A11K, something like that. But please register your, I can see Narmada as well. Santoshi, very, very happy to see all of you. Okay, take care. Happy reading. Read well. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let us see
Thank
next
you,
week.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank
madam.
you,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.